Good evening and welcome to a special inauguration edition of 31 Minutes. I'm Farah Al Toukhi. Today's show covers a wide range of topics from right here in our own AUC. We'll also take you into the details of how our community welcomed our new president, Francis J. Ricciardoni. With President Francis Ricciardoni's inauguration on Monday, the 17th of October, our reporter Hassan Labib will take you on a journey through memory lane to acknowledge the efforts of our past presidents and highlight their contributions to AUC.
October 2016, leading up to 2019, witnesses the approach of a new century for the American University in Cairo and the inauguration of its 12th president, Francis Ricciardoni. But let's start the story from the beginning. President Charles Watson, born and raised in Upper Egypt, was able to raise donations and register a school that would provide Egyptians with top-quality American education. In 1944, President John Beddoe, the Dean of Faculty of Art and Science, succeeded President Watson. AUC at his time became the Mecca for expatriates who wished to study Arabic and social research studies. 1954, Raymond McLean took over just after the revolution. He concentrated on academic development, building up AUC Library. Tom Bartlett took over in 1963 to 1969. He added the Greek campus to the growing AUC. In 1967, Egypt severed diplomatic relations with the United States, and this added a burden to his responsibilities.
There has to be some very special explanation for the fact that I am here, that the American University in Cairo is open, that we are operating almost normally, and in another 3 months we'll be operating completely normally. The reason is that these people here have come to respect us and the institution as being what we say we are, and that is no one's special pleader, but rather people who are genuinely interested in research, scholarship, education, service.
With still severed relations between Egypt and the United States, it had to be a United Nations diplomat, 38-year-old Christopher Thoron, to be the president of AUC, securing its smooth sail. Cecil Bird in 1974 worked on strengthening the relation with the Ministry of Higher Education, granting recognition to most of AUC degrees. In 1978, also a United Nations representative, Richard Patterson, worked on expanding AUC's curriculum.
We're trying to provide a classical American type of liberal arts education coupled with the most professional approaches with the most modern techniques we can. So we have half an Egyptian faculty and half an American faculty. That provides a blend between the two cultures. We teach our people to think analytically. We give them the best in techniques, and we provide them with the liberal arts framework, which they don't necessarily get in other Egyptian universities.
Notable to say, the Kamal Adham Center for Television and Digital Journalism was opened in his time to enhance television news training at AUC.
Television can show to the people some of the tyranny that happens around, and also it can expose a lot of the suffering of the people wherever they are.
In 1990, the 8th president of AUC, Donald MacDonald, purchased the AUC new campus land in New Cairo. AUC celebrated its 75th anniversary in his era.
I am continually impressed with the accomplishments of the graduates of the American University in Cairo, and also of the credit that they give AUC for setting them off on their road of accomplishment.
One of his most prestigious achievements was the opening of the Rare Books Library.
This is the Presidential Medal, which is worn by each of our presidents. It is a symbol of their authority and power. Congratulations, John, you will be a marvelous monk.
In 1998, John Gerhardt worked on finalizing the new campus with his extensive efforts in fundraising campaigns. Many international visitors were asked over to give a speech at AUC, among which was Hillary Clinton.
It is a great pleasure to begin this visit to North Africa here in Egypt, a true partner and friend of the United States.
In 2003, David Arnold became the 10th president of AUC and reaped the work of his predecessors. The opening of the new campus in New Cairo, AUC in his era partnered with prominent universities such as Pennsylvania, Cambridge, Oxford, and Harvard. He also launched the first PhD program. In 2011, Lisa Anderson was the first female president of AUC. She witnessed the aftermath of the 2011 revolution. And now, back to 2016 with Francis Ricciardoni. The ultimate goal of AUC has always been the building of well-educated liberal arts and science graduates. Graduates who will fulfill prominent roles in Egypt and abroad, leading Egypt to prosper and growth while maintaining its culture and heritage. Francis Ricciardoni is no stranger to the Egyptian culture. He served as the American ambassador in Egypt from 2005 to 2008. He is well known for his love of culture and his interest in visiting Moulid and listening to Tawashih folklore.
The university enthusiastically ushered in the dawn of a new presidential administration this past week. Even before the inauguration ceremony itself, the AUC community took the time to reflect on its past years and offer its warmest welcome to its brand new president. All the details in the next report.
Congratulations, John. You will be a marvelous, marvelous.
Inauguration marks the beginning of a leader's term in office. It often features a ceremony where the new leader is sworn in and celebrated. The American University in Cairo has come under the custodianship of its new president, Francis J. Ricciardoni, and as per tradition, the event was commemorated by the community. Even before the grand induction, pre-inaugural events were already in full swing all around campus. During the day preceding the inauguration, discussion panels were held to reflect on the past few years, their successes, and their challenges.
Yet there's a constant concern about the erosion of liberal arts at this university and, of course, all around the world, particularly at the traditional and historic liberal arts colleges in the United States.
Some have come back and had distinguished careers here at AUC. There have also been a number of successes in creative endeavors of various kinds. Several filmmakers, for example, among whom is Haifa Abdul Rahman Al-Mansour.
On the other side of campus, the theater department put on a unique performance for the visiting new president.
But that's the thing, he does it for himself. A more appropriate character would be Brutus from Julius Caesar. Now that's a man who fought for the Republic. You know, I've been working on Brutus before, so yeah, it must be by his death.
This fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces.
This all amounted to the big event, where in front of hundreds in the Basili Auditorium, the former United States ambassador to Egypt began his tenure as the 12th president of the American University in Cairo.
I will strive to build on your great advances for our beloved university.
Farah Al Toukhi, AUC TV. After the inauguration ceremony took place, students welcomed their new president in a very special way. More with Rana Ashraf.
And I trust that you will faithfully execute your role as president of the American University in Cairo to the best of your ability.
On a very memorable day for AUC after the inauguration ceremony of its 12th president, students celebrated this very special event their own way. The celebration started with a march led by President Ricciardoni with AUC representatives and heads of Senate committees. At the plaza area, students performed folkloric dances, while free finger food and refreshments were served to the crowd.
Distinguished guests, welcome to the campus celebration by students, and congratulations to our new 12th president, Francis Ricciardone.
The entertainment program started with Simsimaya dance of the Suez region. Then came the marvelous Egyptian Tannoura. Finally, the program ended with the Haggala dance of Marsa Matruh. The 17th of October 2016 was a day AUC will never forget. This is Rana Ashraf for AUC TV.
For 24 years, there has been a rare books collection at the American University in Cairo's main library. We had the chance to go through these original copies of documented historical events from all over the world that have made a home here on campus. Rawan Lasheen will take us on a journey through the AUC library.
Knowledge, books, access to information for everyone at any time. This is the role of any library in the world. But what differentiates one library from the other? Rare Books and Special Collections Library at the American University in Cairo is one of the finest for all the treasures it has. It was established at the time of President Donald MacDonald in 1992 at the old campus in Tahrir Square, and it has always been known for its unique book collections and historical documents. The AUC Rare Books Library is built upon book donations from the finest writers and historians from all over the world, original copies of historical events and documents, presidential meetings and letters, photographs of celebrities, documentation of international visitors, and any kind of AUC-related events, all in one place. Now we are in 2016, in the new campus's main library building, a 3-story high building that has all sorts of books and facilities. On that 3rd floor, we get to see the hidden treasures of the finest rare books collection. It is of a separate administrative unit within the School of Libraries and Learning Technologies. It supports research and teaching in the arts, culture, and society of Egypt and the Middle East. The library documents ancient, medieval, and modern Egypt, with the wider region with particular strength in Egyptology, Islamic arts, architecture, and travel literature, with the focus of extensive rare and contemporary book collections. With the media and serial manager Iman Morgan, we would know more about how does AUC get all these collections of rare books and why AUC, not any other university.
That precedes the making the collection accessible for researchers and students. This is what gives us credibility of how careful we are with handling with the collection instantly. So we don't store collections for a long time until it's started to deteriorate. We instantly start. We have a team that working on the processing and the cataloging and the conservation of the collections that we get, and making it accessible for not just for AUC community but also for national communities, because we permit students from national universities like Cairo University and Shams University and other universities all around Egypt governorates. We permit them to access the collection and benefit from it. And then we allow donors to come and see what the work process, how the work process goes, and how the amount of time and labor that it takes to. And then sometimes for the major collections, we held exhibitions, for like the one for Boutros Ghali, the former Secretary General, UN Secretary General, Anis Mansour, the famous journalist. And the most recent collection has been donated by the family of Mustafa Amin, and this is what we have started, to dig in to know the scope of the collection.
Father Pierre Ritchie donated 20,000 books from his own personal library. Many of them were autographed by the authors, and over 12,000 volumes, as well as many personal artifacts, medals, photographs, and other documents, were donated by the family of celebrated journalist Anis Mansour. To preserve these treasures, technology plays its role. The library now can preserve the documents digitally and make them available as the Rare Books and Special Collection Digital Library. This doesn't only give them the global access, but also protects items too fragile to withstand handling by researchers. Other photographic collections are being available, most notably that of celebrated artist photographer Van Leo. A special interview with Ola Rashid, reference specialist for the photographic collections at the Rare Books, will talk to us more about Van Leo's collection and how it is important to have such thing.
The idea appealed to Van Leo because he himself was a student at AUC for a very short time, although he didn't continue his degree. And the core of it, what appealed to him most, is that it could be rendered available to future photographers and future scholars of photography and students. They could see techniques of black and white and learn by trial and error and different effects and lighting conditions. So that was his real motivation, to render it available for further studying.
And when it comes to using old books, we need to be extra careful. Students need to have someone from the library who would wear white gloves and open those ancient books for preservation purposes and fragile conditions they are in.
The space is number one because in the Sharia Mansour villa was a very limited space that we cannot expand from. And now we have more space, more climate controlled area that we can, the villa was not designed to be, it was a domestic building, it wasn't designed to be a library, but here it is well sealed. The humidity is controlled by certain devices, the air purifiers, so climate control is much more protective here than in Tahrir Square or in Sharia Mansour, and actually the level of pollution is much more or less here in New Cairo, then back there in downtown.
In anticipation of more to come to the library, which will enhance its quality for the amount of knowledge and documentation of history for better sources and researches done and will be done in the future, a place of this facility is where to head to when we need to go back in history. Rawan Lasheen for AUC TV.
AUC is a tight-knit community, but to most, education is the top priority. The university offers an education with global standards to all students on multiple levels. So what makes studying at AUC different? Maysa Amer has the story.
AUC has been one of the most prestigious and leading universities in the region. Since its foundation in 1919, many graduates later came to be key figures that had a wide-ranging impact in society. More than 40 undergraduate programs and 44 graduate programs allow students to choose the courses they want. AUC attracts students from different backgrounds to come and study different majors. Moreover, AUC's liberal arts education allows students to get knowledge from different perspectives and instead of focusing exclusively on one major.
There are three things that make AUC special, that really are the things that we want everyone to recognize. One is that we, of course, are an English language institution. One is that we are a global university, a very strong sort of sense of international connection and presence. And the third thing, and this is the thing that I'm particularly focused on, is that we are a liberal arts university. We have a reputation. That's our greatest asset. We're known. We have been here for almost 100 years, as you know. And the reason we have the reputation, I think, is because of the students, our graduates, our alumni. And they are an incredible group of people, men and women who have helped shape Egypt and the region and the world in many cases. And in a word, I think what makes AUC special and what it really is all about, in my opinion, would be summed up in the word questioning. That we're not giving answers. We're not giving the right answer to students. We're encouraging students to question. And the idea of a question, of course, is partly a quest. It's a journey. But we're inspiring students to question. We're giving them the courage, I hope, to question, the encouragement to question. And it's not just questioning what other people say, which is critical thinking of a certain kind, but it's also questioning one's own assumptions.
The huge library, educational facilities, and the diversity of subjects all work together to attract new students to choose AUC. According to many, this makes education at AUC at a higher level.
لكن يعني في كورسز كتير قوي ممكن نكسبيرمنت فيها. يعني مثلا لو I'm a business major مثلا and I'm not very interested in business, so I have the chance to experiment مثلا in sociology, psychology, history and stuff like that. But the concept of liberal arts عامة يعني بيexposes في حاجات كتير قوي, بيزود الexposure وكده. ف it makes me more interested في الجامعة. وكمان the technology facilitates التعامل عامة between the مثلا the doctor and the student وكل ده زي blackboard and banner وكده. كل التكنولوجيز دي يعني كويسة قوي.
I think that liberal arts is always the matter in the education. You don't have to be a business student or a philosophy student to get to know about the courses. You might be an engineering student and get to have some business courses or an Arabic or psychology.
AUC combines state-of-the-art technology laboratories and facilities with an internationally drawn experts faculty body, and students are exposed to both theoretical and practical knowledge. They also have opportunities to go on exchange programs and internships abroad to enhance their capabilities with an international perspective.
I think this leadership, the ability to speak in front of people, their public speaking skills, really polished. If they're in journalism and mass comm, their writing skills, the level of their writing should be really high. Their ability to write scripts. They've done practical work, working on TV projects, audio projects, photography. their integrated marketing communication campaigns. So we're pretty active. Students are always going to be more confident when they learn that someone other than their professor has seen their work and appreciates it. So that international recognition is huge. It gives them validation that what they've done is very important and it's a high quality.
Similarly, on the graduate level, students come to AUC to seek their degrees in a variety of fields. They also have lots of opportunities to do research, take part in worldwide conferences, and to engage in exchange programs with top universities.
Not only to what you want to research, but at the same time where you are coming from, theory-wise.
In addition to benefiting from a wide range of scholarships. AUC aspires a reputation of excellence and the global standards.
The diversity of faculty and students AUC has. The faculty body has more, it's about half of international faculty, and all faculty members, whether international or Egyptian, are experts in their fields. I think that one of the primary strengths of AUC as a university in Egypt and in the region is the fact that it is accredited by the Middle States, which is an accrediting body in the US. So this collectively accredits collectively the university as a whole and shows that the university, the system, the way it is run, the program it offers meet international standards.
Education at AUC is not limited to classrooms, but also extends to extracurricular activities. On another note, in accordance to quality control, continuous improvement is one of AUC's foremost goals.
As a matter of fact, in addition to the education that we offer inside our classroom, we offer our students different extracurricular activities. And those actually are very varied activities. The most important activity that I would like to see more in AUC and to help our students to understand the perspective of the jobs that they will get in the future, the real life expectation is to have more undergraduate research involved in our curriculum. Quality of education, enhancing the quality of education, this is an ongoing process that never stops. Even top universities, top tier universities that we call them the Ivy League, those should not and will not stop on enhancing the education that happens on their premises. So is the AUC. We will never stop on talking about how can we enhance our education, how can we provide our students with better education, better opportunities, better way of creating new and creative minds.
Over the years, AUC contributes to producing leaders for the community that plays a role in different walks of life. Maysa Amer for AUC TV.
The Professional Development Program at the Kamal Adham Center at AUC has provided a group of young staff members the opportunity to create something that they have always wanted to do. Next in the following story.
Here at the American University in Cairo, education is much more than learning information from books. Many have had the dream of becoming filmmakers and producers, but the chance to learn was never available. A group of staff members decided to take their hobbies and talents to a different level. They wanted to learn how to create a film.
هو احنا لما بدأنا ناخد الكورس ده مع مستر هاشم هو مستر هاشم مخرج استرالي، هو مش مصري، مصري استرالي. فهو لما بدأ معانا الكورس كان مفاجئ، يعني اتفاجئ جدا بمستوانا في التصوير وفي الايديتنج وفي الكاميرا اوبريشن. فده كله احنا كل الكورسات دي احنا خدناها في الادهم سنتر، فشكرا ليهم.
The Kamal Adham Center for Television and Digital Journalism doesn't only offer professional courses for students, but welcomes staff members to take professional development program courses to learn the aspects of filming and producing.
أستاذ أحمد، أستاذ محمود،
محمد عبد الوهاب عمرو مغربي.
Dina Saad, Assistant Director for the Professional Development Program, says that the program provides the equipment and resources that accommodate the needs of working professionals.
Adham Center is unique in providing courses, hands-on training. Okay, hands-on training is very important for people who would like to learn a skill. If, for instance, if you'd like to learn how to shoot video, so you would need the equipment, the camera, and the facilities to help you in enhancing the skill. The Adham Center is very rich in having equipment that is dedicated for training and for studies, whether MA program or the professional development program.
And through the PDP, they learn how to produce documentaries, movies, and reports. Their final project was a full-length documentary that made an impact on their career, as it was screened in public venues such as the Culture Wheel in Cairo.
خدنا مع بعض كورسز خاصة بالإيديتنج والفوتوغرافي وكده، وبعد بدأنا ندخل في الدوكيومنتري فيلم ميكنج فكرنا مع بعض بما إننا جروب، فكرنا إن إحنا نعمل مع بعض عمل. فجت الفكره واحنا اثناء الفيلم عشان احنا المفروض بنعمل بروجكت لنهايه الكورس، فقلنا نفكر في مستر علاء، هو برضو احد اللي ادانا في ادم سنتر فوتوغرافي، فقلنا ان احنا نعمل عنه الفيلم عشان هو شخصيه كاريزماتيك وكده.
المركز الثاني كان لفيلم هل كان يستحق اخراج احمد السيد. ممكن نسقف له بقى كلنا نلاقيه في انا بقى.
احنا كلنا حابين يعني حابين المجال ده. ممكن كلنا نكون عملنا حاجات تانية بحكم الدراسة بتاعتنا بعيد عن الشغل اللي احنا بنحبه، بس احنا لما لقينا نفسنا يعني حابين نشتغل الشغل اللي احنا بنحبه. يعني زمان كان في حاجة اسمها هواية، ممكن الواحد بيشتغل حاجة والهوايته حاجة تانية خالص. من خلال ادهم سنتر احنا يعني ادالنا الفرصة ان احنا ناخد كورسات في الحاجة اللي بنحبها كتصوير او مونتاج او اخراج، ومن خلال كده احنا بدأنا احنا كلنا نتجمع مع بعض. احنا عرفنا بعض من خلال السنتر، وشويه شويه ابتدينا نعمل الفيلم او بنعمل حاجات تانية كمان. يعني احنا مثلا عملنا اعلانات لشركات، حاجات تانية خالص. يعني الاول كان الموضوع هوايه، دلوقتي الحمد لله بدأنا شويه بشويه نعمل مثلا اغاني، فيديو كليب، نعمل اعلانات لناس بره خالص. فيعني الموضوع الهوايه ابتدت دلوقتي الحمد لله ان احنا يبقى هي دي شغلنا بعد كده.
They say that this project is the first of many and their work will continue. This is Kareem Hatem for AUC TV.
Since the establishment of AUC, the student body has created many social and cultural activities that have contributed greatly to our community. Rehab El Kady has the full story.
One of the characteristics of the American University in Cairo is the activities available that reflect the diverse backgrounds and interests of the student body. There are many kinds of social and cultural events or activities that you can participate in. One of the most anticipated is the annual International Day.
I like the free food. So, I mean, what is there to lose?
It's the different cultural traditions. So I think it's a very important event.
Joining a club or organization lets you develop your personal skills and get involved in areas of community service. The mission of the AUC Venture Lab is to help Egyptians start up commercialize their innovative technologies and business models into ventures that contribute to economic growth.
Basically, present our businesses to them and ask them questions, engage with them in workshops, and see exactly what they have to say about it, or get their opinions and get feedback upon what we've achieved through the process of the VLab up till now, and then see if like something came up that needs modification in our business models, or in what exactly our market segments or something like that. It's basically a large-scale test for what we've come up with up till now.
AUCians come up with their own business ideas and implement them in the actual market. However, what attracts students the most are the concerts organized by these clubs. Reception 16 is a talent show organized by the Help Club. Mainly performances by students for students. Amateur acting, nothing professional, just students widely expressing themselves.
Exception is a show that's done by Help Club members. It's 100% done by members of the AUCN. It's a show that tackles many topics that happens in our daily lives. It consists of sketches, videos, ممكن يبقى فيه operettes. It's a kind of an awareness thing. Aware الناس على الحاجات بتحصل في المجتمع بتاعنا. عاشقنا شايم طرف الصبر والصوار قلبي مقرر يتفرج وجديد فينا النار واسمع العربي والهوية بالعملاء والمسؤولية واسمع العربي والهوية بالعملاء والمسؤولية قلبي طموح وشجاع لكن جواه صراع لسه مش قادر أعيش مع
But all the hype builds up as the mega superstar concerts are resumed this year with the young star Mohammed Hamai singing. Tickets are rapidly selling out.
Expect to sell out, actually. 4,000 tickets. The money is divided between two clubs, Musicana and Al Rasif. Al Rasif is a community service club that dedicates the money to street children, and Musicana is an organizational club that takes care of all the entertainment at university, and the profit that we're getting is split 50-50. 50% goes dedicated to street children, and the other 50 is dedicated to the development of the Musicana team, and that's how it's split now.
At the American University in Cairo, students recognize the importance of playing a role in their environment. They never run out of creativity to establish their own clubs, either for a social cause, cultural, or an educational. Rehab El Kady, AUC TV, Cairo.
The AUC Sports Complex has been serving the campus, making sure to provide a healthy lifestyle for students and faculty. Mohammed Abdel Razek tells you more in the next report.
The AUC Sports Center has been one of the most up-to-date complexes among all universities in Egypt, with its top-notch facilities since the relocation of the campus from Tahrir to New Cairo. Now the center provides all what the students need to balance their academic experiences with sports and exercise, whether by joining the university teams and competing internationally and domestically, or by using the facilities whenever they want from the amateur point of view.
طبعا دي منشأة رياضية، المفروض ان هدفها الأساسي ان احنا نزود معدل الممارسة للطلاب بعد دراسة طويلة وشاقة. المفروض ان هو بيجي يمارس النشاط الرياضي اللي يطلع كل الطاقات الموجودة عنده، ودي وظيفتنا ان احنا يعني الرياضة كاستفادة من النواحي الصحية، من النواحي النفسيه، من النواحي الاجتماعيه. ده شيء مهم وضروري، ودي وظيفتنا ان احنا بنحاول نقدم الخدمه للطالب ان يستفيد اكمل او اكبر استفاده ممكنه في فتره الدراسه اللي هو بيأديها في الجامعه يعني.
It's completely different. I mean, if you were to compare these facilities to the old campus was essentially non-existent. I mean, we just had a very small weight room, probably about double the size of this office, and then we had two very small outdoor futsal, basketball courts. So this is an enormous expansion, which this facility is actually on par with a lot of Division I schools in the States. So for me as a former athlete, I was very excited about this, and then also being hired at the time as the aquatics director, I was extremely excited because when I was a student here, back as a study abroad in 2004, I would have loved to have swam for AUC, but there was no swimming team. Of giving scholarships to student athletes because I think they should be awarded. But at the same time, as AUC, I think our priority should be awarding them for their achievements they've done for AUC and not for their club. So I want to essentially revisit how we deal with student athletes, but also the students as well. And there's some strategies that I'm working on developing on how to improve both not only our sports for student athletes, but also for students as well. Everything from not only offerings from various different teams, but increasing course offerings for various fitness courses, certifications I'm very keen on, bringing physiotherapy, again, not only for our student athletes, but for students as well, because I think as AUC, I mean, this is a liberal arts institution, we should be focusing on developing the well-rounded person and not just in one particular avenue, or not even just academics, but, you know, the mind, the body, the spirit.
With the new director taking the wheel of the AUC Sports Center, it seems that providing top-class facilities is not enough. The new director aims to build a new system that runs the center efficiently, getting the best out of the AUC pro athletes as well as the students. Mohammed Abdel, Razek, AUC TV.
The American University in Cairo is known for its beautiful landscape and greenery. We talked to AUC's own Research Institute for Sustainable Environment to find out more about the university's approach for a greener campus.
It was more than a decade ago when local and international architects designed the American University in Cairo's new campus. They had two objectives in mind: building a thriving learning community and creating a green, sustainable environment. As you walk through the front gate of AUC, you can't help but notice the beautiful landscape and iconic tree walkway. The schematic design of the gardens was in place from day one, but the precise details emerged from a series of meetings to create a sustainable environmental design.
When the campus was first thought about, there was a lot of discussion about what are the principles for designing a new campus. Over a few years, they came up with a master plan that's fairly similar to what you see today as built. And in that original master plan, there was included some attention to landscape, particularly to a large garden that would be close to the buildings that students and the faculty and the staff could all utilize.
The AUC garden is home to more than 50 fruit-bearing and ornamental tree species. The trees and shrubs were selected not only for their variety of color and aroma, but for their productivity as well.
We decided to go for a garden that would be beautiful, of course. It would smell good, so it would have aromatic plants. It would look good, it would have flowering plants, some ornamentals, but it would also, in keeping with the Middle Eastern theme, be a productive garden in terms of fruit trees.
The American University in Cairo adopts a long-term approach to sustainable development, and therefore the landscape design was made with a limited water budget in mind.
All of the plants are grown using a drip irrigation system. So what this is the water is delivered to the garden by a pipeline underground, and then there are valves that distribute the water into these plastic hoses, and then that water is delivered pretty much exactly to the root zone of the plant, so there's not evaporative loss, and delivered at a measured rate through, they call them emitters or drippers. It's like a little valve, so depending on how much pressure you put in, it should drip at a very known rate, so you know how many liters per hour you're actually delivering.
The university used to sell its homegrown fruits to the AUC community through the Desert Development Center, which managed a 500-acre of cultivating land. But this center was recently closed following the expiration of a lease agreement with the government.
The ones that on this campus I'm not We're no longer managing it. That's being managed by facilities. 90% or more of them just disappear during the course of a season. Community members pick them.
And while picking them, they enjoyed the beautiful serene garden and gained hands-on appreciation of sustainability. Passant Refaat, AUC TV.
Our guest tonight is former editor-in-chief of the Caravan, Nadine Amidala, who is now the president of the newly established MassCom Association. Thank you, Nadine, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you start by telling us how the MassCom Association came to be?
All right, well, around 4 or 5 years ago, it used to be active, and then at some point, the activity sort of fizzled out and the association was shut down. And around a year ago, our founder, Hussein Amin, decided to try to work on bringing it back. So, he talked to the department chair, he talked to people in the OSD, which is the Office of Student Development, because they're, they oversee these kinds of activities. And we just felt that there was a real need for an organization that could really bring together students in the MassCom department. Because, they're usually brought well together in like group projects and things like that, but across the board, there isn't really something that engages everybody. So, we talked about it, and we discussed how best we could, like in terms of hierarchy and things like that, how best we could try to serve MassCom students. And then we held a referendum last semester, and I was elected president. And yeah, it came back to life.
So are there any difficulties with maintaining an association like this one?
For sure, when it's brand new, because people are still unsure of the scope of the activities. I'll give you an example. Some people feel the need for it to come back bigger and stronger than ever, impress the whole campus, while other people think that the vision for the association in its first few semesters back at least should be to serve the students that are its constituents. So it's different views like that that sort of make it hard to organize things that'll make a lot of people happy and a lot of people engaged.
All right. So how are students meant to benefit from an association like this?
In a number of ways. I think an academic association should really provide support, namely. So, if they need information sessions, or if they need workshops, if they feel that they need more technical training, the association should work on giving them sessions that would supplement that. At the same time, it should also be engaging and fun. So it should provide an outlet for them to let off steam if they need to, support during finals week, things like that.
All right. So a problem that MassCom students usually face is employment after graduation. Usually in our employment fairs, especially here on campus, we aren't really, or there isn't a lot of representation from radio stations, TV stations, anything like that. So is the association working in any way to make sure that there's more employment representation and get students better employed in the future?
We are, for sure. That was actually one of our biggest goals, and consequently we have a position under the academic committee. Just for clarity, our association is divided into an organizational and an academic committee. And under the academic committee, there's an internships coordinator who is currently working, on a very strict timeline to secure a number of internships with obviously criteria from the employers, but across the board, things like PR and advertising agencies and newspapers and magazines. So they think there's going to be something for everyone. And I think we're going to have a relatively small number in our first, because this is our first semester to trying this out. But I have hope for it to continue to grow, and for sure, yes.
So who are the members of the MassCom Association? Who can join?
In the higher positions, sort of like president or vice president, things like that, you definitely need to be a student in the department, but anybody can really be a member. And there are positions, as on the membership level, and then on the sort of coordination and the heads sort of people. And then there's obviously the senior staff, people like myself and academic coordinator, organizational coordinator.
Are faculty involved in any way?
We do have a faculty advisor, but the role is very advisory. But I do have to say, faculty in the Journalism Mass Communication department have been really, really helpful and really supportive, and they've all expressed an interest in sort of working with the association, be that to help us find internships for the students, or to give us ideas for sessions or activities that they think their students would be engaged in. So it's been great.
So how are faculty able to help in any way?
Honestly, they can, sometimes we approach them and ask for things in particular, or help on a certain session or workshop or activity. And if they have an idea for us, they can either approach myself or any of my staff members, or they can send us an email. So, I think our office is smack in the middle of the department, really. So, anybody can just drop in and let us know.
All right. So is there any kind of process that is involved in cooperating with the association?
Not in particular. We like to remain relatively open.
All right, so it's very simple to be able to get involved in the corporation.
Yeah, and even our members, I think we were talking about this at our last meeting, and we were telling them that just because you're in one committee doesn't mean that if you have a really great idea, you can't pass it along to someone that could use it. But you're not really confined to your role within it. It's very flexible, and we're all open to ideas.
What are the future plans for the association? Are there any events coming up?
There are a number of events coming up, yes. We want to have, this is the immediate plan, where we want to have a majors information session, because a lot of people take the proficiency exam and they know they want to get into the department, but they don't know what the difference is between the majors and things like that. So that's one thing that we immediately want to do, as well as continue to secure these internships, because we want people to be able to apply for them by December. But on the long run, I think we want to try to coordinate with other associations, mass comm associations in other universities, to have some sort of media festival. And I think that would be a chance to showcase student work. It would also be a great networking opportunity, but I think we definitely need a lot of manpower for that, and so I feel like that is something that would be on the long run.
Well, thank you so much, Nadine, for joining us today, and thank you for this amazing information about the Mass Comm Association. We wish you all the best with your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's all for today. See you in the next episode of 31 Minutes. Thank you for watching.